All right, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, Moneyline with Nancy. It is. My guest is joining me right now. TIKO OKOYE, who is the Managing Director at FORTIS Microfinance Bank. Mr. OKOYE, good to see you again. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'll do fine. It's okay. And I also want to use the opportunity to congratulate you once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. Let's start from this, your article. Let's start from this, your article.
Okay.
Daily Independent, isn't it?
Yes.
The Independent newspaper of September 8th, 2017. And you mentioned me there.
Yes.
I was like, what? Reading the article. Okay, let me just take a bit of what you said. Where should I take? Okay, let's take it up from here, where you said, yes, the less than 1% growth rate might not be fascinating to many analysts and politicians. That's the economic growth rate you're talking about. But it is a very welcome development. It may be lower than what most of them expected, but it certainly gives ground for cautious optimism, especially to this columnist who about 12 months ago had appeared, that's you, had appeared on my program here on AIT to openly predict that based on what I could perceive from the activities of Buhari's administration, things, even as they regress from bad to worse over the time, will come out of the woods within 12 to 18 months. At that time, it looked like a tall order, and Nancy had warned me that she will call me up when the day of reckoning arrives. Well, Nancy, guess who is laughing last right now?
Last laugh.
What? So this is the... So this is the day of reckoning.
It's the day of reckoning.
And I'm calling you up right now.
Yes.
So you have the last laugh.
Yes, I'm laughing.
But you said something, cautious optimism.
Yes, cautious optimism.
And we are not out of the woods yet.
Certainly. But 2 quarters now, we have seen positive growth. Say, what do you call that? After 5 quarters of successive, negative growth, now you have 2 quarters consistent positive growth. I think we are leaving the cautious optimism now to more pragmatic optimism.
Oh, okay, because that brings me to the next question of, shouldn't we still be cautiously optimistic? Even as cautiously optimistic in the sense that the growth rate for second quarter revised 0.72%, third quarter 1.40%, but also based on all prices. But I was also told, no, Nancy, is not just on all prices. We are doing some other things.
Agri too has been very, very effective, the agri sector. And I think people who look at the president's policies, sometimes I think with the tendency to just criticize, because our vision. If you look at the school meal, for instance, and wonder the number of cooks, the number of farmers, the number of poultry farmers, egg producers, the number of people, probably domestic people who will be washing pots and pans and what have you. Look at that, how many jobs are being created by just that one program alone. And then money circulating into the system again. Whether you call it expansionary by indirect or direct means, that is quietly retooling, quietly putting money, boosting the economy without making too much noise. That's why I said there were many things afoot that people were just not looking at. But I knew that if all these things gelled together, definitely, yes, the economy would be much better.
So you think this administration is doing quite well? Because with what you're saying right now, quietly without making noise.
Oh, yes.
So why do you think that Nigerians are still aloof? And Nigerians are still expecting that change which they voted for in 2015?
You see, I'm not a politician. I don't want to go into politics.
One too.
But Shegun Adeniyi of this day wrote a very interesting article once. I don't know whether he will still stand by it now, but he called it the quiet agricultural revolution of Buhari. And he said from what he has seen and what he knows, that the government has been engaged in a very quiet revolution that most Nigerians are unaware of. And then when it comes, it's going to come in such a way that food security will be in place, and we'll be wondering, when did this happen? How did it happen? Because right now, even I think 2 days ago, the Minister of Agriculture was saying that rice importation from Thailand has now fallen to just 20,000 metric tons. You know what it used to be before, an armada of ships coming in with rice and all kinds of things. So definitely, yes, working quietly without too much noise. And that's where sometimes our fault is maybe people around it should really, blow the trumpet. Because most Nigerians are unaware of this, and everything like Buhari this, Buhari that. No, the economy. Look at fuel scarcity. Hey, because it doesn't happen again. We have forgotten what this country used to go through. Here in Abuja, you have 2 kilometers of traffic. People waiting to buy fuel for filling stations. When did you go to the filling station last and you had this kind of queue? There are things that are being done, but somehow, I don't know.
NNPC has been the one supplying fuel.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, but NNPC was the one supplying fuel under the previous administrations.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, we're not talking about the state of the economy now.
Yeah.
Because why I brought up this is your article, and you mentioned me now, and you're still having that last laugh.
Yes.
You know, but anyhow, some of the things you've noted some of the things, yes, like the agricultural progress going on and all of that. But anyway, let's talk about microfinance.
Good.
I think yes, your constituency.
Yes.
You told me that, Nancy, you wake me up even 12 midnight, 1 a.m. I'm going to talk about microfinance. Oh, yes. How do you justify that banks, you and your colleagues still take 25–30% interest rates?
That's for microfinance.
Yes, for microfinance.
Nancy, it may surprise you now that even deposit money banks are also charging 30% you are talking about. So, in fact, they are just selling us out of business. Because what is the TB rate today? And the way you look at the TB rate, what's the prime lending rate? Prime lending rate for most commercial banks is anything between 22 and 30. 30 is the maximum. And then for my bank that probably lends 2.5 per month on SMEs, that's also 30%. Now, when you compare the cost of funding, when I get my funds at the weighted average cost of probably around 20%, and your regular deputy money bank is getting the same for about 7%. You can just see who is hurting more. So I think it's wrong to say that accuse microfinance banks of charging usurious rates being charged.
How much does your bank charge?
For SMEs, we are bound because we are one of the 2 microfinance banks in West Africa that has already been given the Customer Protection Principle Award, which means we can't charge more than 2.5% per month on SMEs.
What does that mean? Break it down.
2.5% per month gives you 30% per month. Customer protection principle means you sign, these are contracts with the customers. It's done by microservices.
So your interest rate is what? If I come now to your bank, or someone that owns an MSME that comes to your bank now to lend like 300,000 or 500,000,
yes.
How much interest rate?
If it's SME, it's going to be 2.5% per month. That's going to be 30% per annum.
Per annum?
Yes.
That's still quite huge.
Oh, you know how much I get my money for? My rate, I just told you, the average cost of funds break down at about 20%. You just have that razor thin margin for microfinance banks these days, right? Razor thin margin.
Why I asked it, are you under any of the central bank intervention programs? Are you under it?
Oh, sure.
Which one?
For the special, the micro, small and medium
MSME, the 220 billion?
Yeah, 220 billion.
You're under it?
Yes. We took,
how much are you supposed to charge for that?
That is single, that is different. That's intervention.
So, okay. What I want to know is that
BOI, the same thing,
yeah.
Bank of Industry, intervention. So you get the funds, they give you the funds at a specific rate and say, this is, no, you can't charge more than this. This is what we allow you for your administrative costs and every other. That's different. That's targeted.
Yes. Why I'm asking that is I want to know if you are under any central bank intervention. So you give interest rate at a single digit.
Yes.
9%, which is supposed to be.
Yes.
Have people been coming for that 220 billion?
Oh, you betcha. It's cheap.
They've been coming?
Why won't people come?
Okay.
It's
but
cheap.
your own other funds you charge now at 30%.
Because we get the money from our commercial rates, so we charge commercial rates too.
Why I asked, because of course, for some people who would have seen the promo earlier, I interviewed the central bank governor, which will be on tomorrow, so our viewers should tune in tomorrow evening, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. That's on Friday. Then on Saturday, the concluding part, 7 to 8. And I took it up with the central bank governor that these are different intervention funds. A lot of people still say that they don't have access to it and all of that. And he told me something that for banks that are under the intervention fund, must charge at a single interest rate. And if they do not, they'll be sanctioned.
Oh, sure.
So I wanted to know if you...
Oh, no, the CBN is very, very serious about that. And even the Bank of Industry, they have their reports. You must send regular reports, properly monitored to make sure you are doing exactly that.
Do you think your constituency has lived up to expectation in alleviating poverty?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's not
definitely will be so easy to say.
It's not because I'm involved. Because at the end of it, when you look at all the reports that FINA, Enhancing Financial Inclusion and Access, FINA has been sending out over the years, you will see a steady decline in the percentage of people that are financially excluded. And this decline comes in tandem with the rise in the activities in the operations of microfinance banks. Because it couldn't have been otherwise. These are the banks that are grassroots financial institutions, very close, even in the remotest areas where no other commercial banking angel would dare to tread. These microfinance banks still go in there and do that. Because what is financial inclusion? And that's where you will get it, that it is to unlock economic opportunity for all, but most particularly the poor, through the provision of expanding access to catalytic financial services. Catalytic financial services. That is the key word, the catalytic.
You know, since, I would say, since the United Nations declared 2005 the year of microfinance, from that time till now, how much progress have we seen? Because there's still financial exclusion in the country.
Yes.
In this country,
yes.
Not so many people are financially included.
Yes.
I think was it last month? The Queen of Netherlands
the
Queen came from Netherlands because she's an ambassador of financial inclusion.
Yes.
And Nigeria, we still haven't got a lot of people financially included. Poverty is still staring us in the face. The report, I don't know if you saw it, World Poverty Clock that I talked about for a week on the program, that by February, Nigeria will surpass India as the world's poorest. So if we're having that kind of report, the question that came to my mind is, what financial intermediary role is the microfinance sector playing to alleviate poverty?
First of all, if you look at, I think in 1999, that same the poverty rate of poverty was about 75%. Today, I mean financially excluded. Today, the financially excluded has come down to under 50%. So you see that has been some tremendous achievement. Yes, the poverty is still there, and I believe that if the wherewithal have been made available to the microfinance banks, definitely the results will have been much better.
What do you mean by the wherewithal?
Because for microfinance to succeed, financial inclusion to succeed, there are two primary factors that must be available. One is robust or strong microeconomic activities, and we have them here because of the population, and our people are very, very industrious and entrepreneurial. The second is that there must be strong source of funding. Without funding, you can't make use of the opportunities. So the microfinance or the microeconomic activity are very, very strong, they're very robust. But then, what about the funding? I think that's the kind of thing that the gap that Central Bank, Bank of Industry, Development Bank of Nigeria, they're trying to fill. Well, because the gap is so huge. It's like the infrastructural deficit, the gap in Nigeria talking about. And I tell you how many trillions it will take to bridge it. The gap in the microfinance, microfinance subsector is so huge that all these things is just like drops of water in the ocean. So that is it. When more funds are made available, definitely the results will definitely be better.
Which comes before? Because you talked about strong economic activities. If we're saying we have strong economic activities, it would also reflect in output, as it were.
Yes.
It will reflect in the quality of life. It will reflect with poverty ratio, unemployment ratio, and all of that. Which comes first? Should the microfinance sector, which you belong to, also do more in terms of expanding that economic base, in terms of getting people more inclusive, in terms of making businesses progress and rise?
That's our function.
That's your function, but are you doing it adequately?
And I'm just telling you that in order to do that, you need proper funding, adequate funding.
Funding now from where?
That has become the key issue. For a bank like mine that has access to international finance, it is easier. But there are many, many, many microfinance banks operating in Nigeria who don't have the kind of opportunities I have. And so they have customers, the demand is there, but where is the funding to satisfy this huge demand? It's not available. Because remember, TVs today, what is the rate? Everybody's going to T-bills.
That's
The
treasury
government
bills.
is crowding out the real sector. So where is savings? Nobody wants to save. Because if I can go to get the T-bill rate for 70%, why should I go and now begin to look for 10%, 12% in a bank? It doesn't make sense. So you find that it's drying up of these intervention funds. So where's the money going to come from? Everything's being locked in treasury bills and what have you. So something just has to give. No, that is what we've been crying about.
Something just has to give, and that thing that is giving up on our heads, is giving up on the consumers,
Yes.
and is giving up on Nigerians.
Yeah,
There's something that is giving up on us.
So I think the fault is in our stars, it's in us. No, so I agree with you there. No.
Isn't there a repercussion? And that's the repercussion we're seeing, because interest rates at 30%, you're saying 2.5%, 30% over a period of 12 months, and all of that. So it's like we're just going around in circles, that we've not come to the real issues of getting those structural challenges addressed.
Correct. To an extent, I agree with you there. Because when you look at it, there's no real long-term funds in the market. But one good thing now is they started with my housing thing, that the World Bank is even involved. Now you can get, it's possible now you may get funds for housing between 15 to 30 years. It has never happened before. So when you have all these kind of things in place, you find that when you deepen the financial markets, obviously what you are saying will surely come to pass. And you begin to find that interest rates will not be in the single-digit range. Because I read one of these chieftains of commercial, this Association of Commerce and Industry, saying we will fight for single-digit interest rates. It's not the matter of fighting. It's the loss of supply and demand. So
what will bring interest rates down? What do you think will bring it down?
Right now,
will it continue to skyrocket?
Yeah,
apart from the intervention funds?
Interest rate has a lot of linkages. It's linked to the inflation rate. It is linked to the exchange rate of your domestic currency. You can't have one being down when the other one is. It won't work. It's out of sync. So it's something that's going to be done holistically. Both fiscal and monetary policies have to gel.
Do you think they are gelling now?
For now, I think they are trying.
Gelling.
Yes. No, for now, I think, CBN has really come up and helped tremendously. All the extra intervention windows they open. See how the Naira now it's just kind of quieting that. It was a major disaster, just waiting to happen before. But with the intervention of the CBN, I think that's, and then the government being more careful in all its fiscal policies, I think we'll get there.
How much non-performing loans does your sector reel in? Just like even the DMBs, the commercial banks, because we've seen that even the commercial banks have a lot of non-performing loans that they have provisioning for. How much non-performing loans do
let me put it this way. When the economy is down, the amount of non-performing loans rise. They are directly correlated. But still, I would say that the non-performing loans for the microfinance subsector is far, far lower, not just in terms of amount, but in relative terms than those of the deposit money banks. Because you find out that our lending methodology is different, business model. We have the social collateral. We also find out that more responsible.
What's social collateral?
Where we put them in groups.
Okay.
And the groups members now cross-guarantee themselves and peer pressure. So you want to default, they no, done, because it's going to affect all of us. And sometimes they contribute and pay for the defaulting members so that there's no default. So these are the things that make that sector more resilient than the deposit money banks.
Now let's talk about the collateral. Do you still lend to people with collateral, bearing in mind that even most of the clients or consumers of microfinance, they don't have forms of collateral?
In the main, depends on what you are lending. In the main, you find out that there are people individuals who still come, or even SMEs, who still come for that are not microcredits, and they still bring collateral.
How about those that want microcredit? Let's say 50,000 or 100,000.
Sure. You find out that those ones that if we are either in groups or individuals, depending on the bank's strategy.
Do you give them collaterals?
No. Collateral
Do you give them loans asking for collaterals?
Collateral is what form? Collateral may come in terms of personal guarantees. So they bring their guarantors, and You probably go and verify, evaluate the guarantors. Can they pay back if this man or this beneficiary does not pay? So it's not that you have to bring a house or a car. So most times it's just personal guarantees.
Okay. For someone that wants to lend like 50,000 or 100,000 naira, would you tell the person to get a collateral?
Again, it depends on. Say if it's in a group, if it's a group lending now, and they consider into groups, whether from 5 to 20 or whatever the group is. You normally that told you just social collateral, the peer pressure.
Okay. Okay.
So you don't need to begin to ask for anything after that. But when you are lending to an individual, of course, an individual you want to say, okay, bring us personal guarantee or bring us any other thing that we may deem fit to secure a position.
With your own experience, do you see MSMEs, do they have a higher ability to pay back loans?
Oh, they definitely do. They definitely do. Why? Because the honor system, there's more pressure on them. Remember, these are institutions that normally don't have access to financial services. So when you do provide them with access, they want to be sure that they utilize that thing effectively, so that they are very good. In fact, the payback record for SME far better than the regular borrowers.
How about who pays back, the men or the women?
Oh, for instance, most of our customers are more women. Okay. We have a section of operations where you have 100% women. And the paper record
has been very good. Because it's on record that women pay
sure.
Far better.
They are better managers of finance.
All right, let's just take this 1 minute to read. Our comments are coming through on our Twitter. Omogbola says, honestly, I was at a 3-day conference which ended yesterday where one of the facilitators from Kaduna Business School said the present government is doing a whole lot in fixing the economy. I think it's not revealing because the economy has been in grave danger over the years. Naftali says, I disagree with your guest. Nigeria's economy is not doing any good, and that is it. While Omogbola says, oh, so gratifying. Can't wait to watch. Such it will be intriguing. Okay, I think Omogbola is talking about the interview that I conducted with the Central Bank Governor, frank and blunt. Just watch out tomorrow evening. You know, that should be on the plate tomorrow as we're on a public holiday. Just put it down. It's part of your menu to watch, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m.
I'll be there. I'll be watching.
Where I asked Godwin MFA a lot of questions. It's a 2-part interview, Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 5:30. Saturday, 7 p.m. to 8, where he answered a few of my questions. You know.
Not all.
He answered all the questions I asked. You know, 2 hours cannot even just be enough. But I tried as much as possible to do my job. Many thanks, Mr. Okoye, for coming.
Thank you, Nancy. It's
I hope you won't write again about me now. Tell me now.
This time I'm going to write good.
Anyway, you are free to write. All right, I've been speaking with TIKO OKOYE, who is the managing director at FORTIS Microfinance Bank. We've been looking at microfinance in Nigeria. It's one issue that I'll continue to look at. I want to say many thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to join the exclusive interview tomorrow and Saturday. The promo will be on the channel. Tell a friend and share it on all your social media platforms. Many thanks. I will see you all on Monday. I would also be having my public holiday tomorrow. So be the change that you want to see and be the best that you can be. I am Nancy Nnaji. Bye now.